I'm going to talk about hygiene. Okay? Right. If you've got a dog and you take your dog out, you have to pick up your dog's shit, yeah? When you pick up the dog shit, I know you're using a bag to pick up the dog shit. After that, you need to hand sanitize your hand. Understand? You need to go outside with your hand sanitizer when you're walking your dog, so that when you pick up the shit, even if you're doing it with a bag, you still use an hand sanitizer to hand sanitize your hand. When you get back in with your dog, get back into your house, it is important that you go straight away and wash your hand with soap and water, because that hand sanitizer thingy is just temporary. You still need soap and water. That's one. When you go to the toilets, okay, it is important to wash your hands. It doesn't matter you did it number one or you did it number two, you have to wash your hands. Wash your hands with soap. Make sure you have, liquid soap or whatever, but you need to wash your hands, okay, after you use the toilet, whether it's a number one or whether it's a number two. Wash your hands with soap, okay? That's one thing. Secondly, if you go and you empty the bin, you take your bin to outside, to where it's supposed to be, to the main bin, you also have to wash your hands when you come back, okay? You need to wash your hands with soap. So now let's talk about when you have a bath. So when you have a bath, it is important that you wash under your armpits. Okay, you need to wash it. You need to spend time washing it. You need to make sure you tell yourself to make sure you're washing your armpits. That is so important, people. I don't know how to explain it. I have been around people that their armpit smells, and I know what some of you be saying, well, maybe they've been running around all day. That's not an excuse, okay? You need to take your sponge and you need to scrub it down. I want you guys to see my armpits. Look. Okay, look at my armpits. Can you see? It's the same color as me. Okay, my armpit doesn't have its own shade. Okay, because I spend time washing it. Okay, so you need to spend time scrubbing your armpits. That is really important. Okay, because people don't. And after you scrub it, okay, before you get out of the shower, you need to put your nose like this and see whether it smells. If it smells, you need to get back into that shower and wash yourself again. You understand? A lot of people have black armpit here, that color skin armpit, because they're not washing it properly. You understand? When I was growing up, my mom used to send me back into the shower all the time if my armpit smelled or something like that. That is why my armpit is like the way it is, really, today. Now, so after you've done that to your armpits, after you've had a good wash, when you get out of the shower, you need to use a deodorant. That is important, okay? Please don't walk around thinking just you washing your armpit alone is enough and you don't need to use a deodorant. You need to use a deodorant, okay? You just need to, okay? Because once you start sweating, that's the first place you sweat. You understand? So you need to use a deodorant after you've come out of the shower, after you scrubbed your armpits, after you put your nose there and smell it, to make sure it's smelling good. You understand? That is important, people. Okay? Deodorant, wash your armpits. Right, the next thing is brushing teeth. Okay? Some people don't brush their teeth. Some people brush their teeth whenever they remember. Okay? Now, I've got a solution to that. When you're going into the shower to have a shower, take your toothbrush. Have your toothbrush in the shower. so that you can brush your teeth. Do you understand? You're washing the rest of your body, you can as well wash your teeth. That is important. Okay, so when you go in to have a shower, take your toothbrush, brush your teeth, okay? And when you're brushing your teeth, take your toothbrush and do your tongue, okay? Do your tongue. Use your toothbrush to do your tongue, okay? Because your tongue also accumulates stuff. Okay, so when your mouth starts smelling, your teeth will smell, your gum will smell, and your tongue. You understand what I'm saying? So it is important. Okay, now the next thing we're going to talk about is elbows. Okay, now this is another part of the body that people always seem to neglect. I don't know why. You know, your elbows here. Yeah, okay. It is important, okay, to spend time scrubbing your elbows. You understand? When you wash your arm, make sure you do your elbows. That is important, okay? If you don't do your elbows, you're going to end up with really, your elbow is really going to be extra dark here. You understand? You're going to have terrible discoloration there, and that is because you've not spent time scrubbing it. You understand? Okay, and I don't mean you need to go and get a brush or anything like that. You just use whatever you're using to have a bath, your sponge, your flannel, your loofah, whatever it is that you use. Just use this, you know, to spend, I don't know, a minute. Just, you know, watching each elbow, making sure that it comes out okay. And the same thing for your knees, okay? Your knee here, yeah? Right, that's another part. Okay, you need to wash your knee. Now, some people make mistakes. I've seen people make mistakes when it comes to washing their knee. Okay, they don't know, they're not washing their knee properly. So when it comes time to washing your knee, you just don't bend down like this and wash your knee. You don't do that, okay? You need to flex your knees to wash your knee, okay? Because so this is what I mean when it comes to washing your knee. Don't wash your knee like this in the shower, okay? The reason why you shouldn't wash your knee like this is, look, here your knees are is folded, okay? The skin here is folded, so when you wash it like this, it's not getting washed properly. If you want to wash your knee, you need to flex your knee like this, then you can wash it properly. Bend down like this, so you can, the skin here can be flexed, and then you can wash your knee. That is important. So that is the way to wash your knee. Don't wash your knee like this. Wash your knee after you've flexed it. Have it up like this.